Next, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks everyone for joining tonight. So we do have a quorum. Just a quick note, so everybody is aware, all of our meetings are recorded. I just want to be open and honest with all of that. And then we'll go ahead. Oh, do we have that? Oh, yeah. Oh, we have it. So we do have two public hearings tonight. And what is it? Somebody took my gavel. Oh, there it is. So we'll go ahead and open the first public hearing at 6:01 on ordinance 828.
15.
Sorry, 818. And that is an ordinance of the city of Toledo establishing a policy for setting water meters dormant for demolition construction lasting more than 30 days, providing for severability and establishing an effective date. So we'll open that up to the public if anybody's got any questions or concerns on that. Did everybody have I think we've got them printed out over there too, right, Carly?
Yes.
So there's copies of them on the table over there. We need Jeopardy music.
Thank you. Thanks for that.
So that says establish like basin water meters and such.
So this would be for setting them as dormant, so that's we pull them correct when they're getting ready for demolition.
No, it's just, like if we don't pull them, because then we have to put them all back in, but it's just setting the account to dormant, so they're not getting that reoccurring.
Usage fees.
Yeah,
Monthly.
right.
That is great. How come it's so expensive to put the meter back in?
A lot of that is gonna be so it's paying also for the upkeep on those lines. So like we had people in before regarding the same kind of question, and it is when a meter has been out for so long and nothing's running through those pipes, you put that back in and you put that pressure up against it. So it's money that we have in the back so that when those lines fail, we've got the money to replace them.
They're just, I need approval to, yeah.
Oh, yes.
So
It's just emails for when I need approval for the wage stuff, so. it was
There's
just-
multiple, right?
So everybody
Everybody takes one.
needs to look.
take that down.
Yeah.
Oh. I thought it was one.
It's 3 minutes.
Is it member?
It's before now.
Perfect. All right, so we'll go ahead and close that. The public hearing for ordinance 818 at 6:04. We'll go ahead and open it up for ordinance 819 at 6:04. And ordinance 819 is an ordinance of the city of Toledo, Washington, adopting a new municipal fee schedule, superseding prior fee schedules and providing for severability and effective date. And again, we do have copies if anybody has any questions on that or has not had a chance to look it over yet.
And Rachel, that was some of the fees on here didn't pencil out like we were intending and became a little egregious.
Correct.
What is it? What is it?
So that's the fee schedule. So any fees within the city that are being charged out. We go through the fee schedule annually and make adjustments where needed. So this is basically just us going through those again.
So, so, yeah, that was specifically the boundary line and
Subdivisions,
subdivisions were overpriced. The permitting is new to Toledo, so we kind of,
We have to get permits now?
well, yeah. You get permits.
You're like, wait a
It's
minute.
up to you. Instead of giving the money to the county, we give it to the city.
Who does the inspections? The Lewis County or the private?
It's Robert over at Winlock.
Contract out with Winlock.
Why do you have that somewhere then?
Not the same.
50 seconds.
Wait, you said how many?
30,
Oh, okay, I thought you said.
I got
50.
20.
29.
Yeah, we'll go with FedEx. Okay, so we'll go ahead and close the public hearing on ordinance 819 at 6:07. All right, so we will go ahead and jump on and I will call for any other business items.
I need to
Yeah.
get approval for some comp payout.
Anybody have anything else they need added in for other business? Okay, then we'll go ahead and move forward. I would entertain a motion for approval of the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion that we approve this consent agenda.
Been moved by Rebecca and seconded by Kathy. Is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Opposed? All right, motion carries. So we will go ahead and move into department reports. Do we know if she's gonna make?
He's not, I got all his stuff. though.
Okay, perfect. Do you want to read
Sure.
for him?
Yep.
Okay.
So Valentine is out today, so he just gave me the police activity report. We had a total of 32 calls this month, which gets us a total of 88 for the year. I don't know if you guys want me to go through every one of them like he does. It'll be on record, so it's there.
Did anybody have any questions that we need to relay to PD? All right, we will jump into City Hall.
So the fire district update, Jackie and Chris, next door approved a fire investigation fee to be added to their fee schedule. Which means they're gonna be able to recover those costs easier than we can, and an investigation for us is like $1,500. I think there's been 3 of them since I've been here, which we've had to pay out of pocket. So the fire department's completely taken that off of us, which is really nice. The 09 grant that we applied for, we didn't get. Civic Plus is currently in the legal process. This probably take a couple more months. It looks like mid-May, we should hear back from them and start giving them our feedback. I am working with Todd to finalize and submit another grant for 36,000 for the climate component of our there you go, yep, that
So that
So-
would be in addition to the 100?
yes,
Oh.
yep. This might have been the one that Joe brought up too, but they're extending it to the end of December, so we're able to apply for that, so. That's due next week, I believe, so I'll work with him and get that finished. And then we received our shoreline documents that we were waiting on. I'm not sure if this has to go through SEPA, if the Department of Ecology's seen it, so I'm gonna start working on that, but that was a big kind of issue, needing our shoreline update, so that's really it though. We're almost done with all the remodeling. We'll start working outside here as soon as the sun comes up.
Looks great.
It does, it looks beautiful in there.
So on the 09, did they give you any feedback?
They did not. I think there's minutes that came out. I know they said that we should look into using REIT. And there was a couple other things that recommendations that they gave us. They are aware that there is the Calix Meadows coming in, and there is supposed to be part of SEPA where they're building another park. I didn't have the information for that. I know there's something that Max is doing with the parks down there. I don't know if he's giving us money. Yeah, so that was more they're like, well, you guys are wanting to update this park, but you guys are getting a brand new park over here. So they're very well informed. And I think we asked for too much money. So everything's prevailing wage, so everything costs a lot, but I think that's my opinion. I'm sure Joe can give an update on it too, but yeah.
You don't know how much money they have, that's part of the
Yeah.
problem. If you've only got a small amount that time period that they've taken in, so we as the applier, we don't know, so.
And they will be coming out with minutes for their meeting for the grant, so when we have those, we'll have a little bit more information.
And they'll be posting who got money too, which will be helpful.
And how much?
Yeah, and how much. So it was. The drill does.
Mhm.
Any other questions for Rachel? All right, we will go ahead and move forward into the Public Works.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jay Crow, Public Works Assistant. As far as our daily procedures and testing goes, they were all performed without any major issues, including our screw press operation at the treatment plant. For an inventory update, most of our progression as of the recent weeks has been in the water distribution side of things and our mapping software. We've got all of our hydrants in the town mapped and labeled so that when we do proceed with the fire department to do maintenance and testing, we'll be able to go in there and input all that information in. Which kind of moves me into my next piece. We have been working with the fire department. Still, we have just a couple gauges that we're left waiting on. I think they were lost in the mail. But other than that, we're getting ready to work with them as far as getting started. Now it's kind of weather concerns and organizing our time with them, but we are both really prepared to hit the ground running with the hydrant testing. And we will be involved together. We will all be there so that the fire department as well as our department can all get a feel for what that looks like. So that's also just a sort of formal announcement to the citizens that not to be surprised if we're out testing hydrants on the road and streets. I believe the fire department also intends on giving out notice. I think he said via their Facebook page. I don't know if I remember that right, but the fire chief did say that he intends on giving some notice. Other than that, our new hire Connor has been doing good. He's more or less done with whatever training we need him to do. He's now at least a little bit familiar with the city and our facilities. He's been scraping curbs around the city, preparing for when we get better weather, we can paint them before cheese days. He's also been kind of taking over the trash run and the restroom cleanup, as well as some other little tasks like that. He's been helping us out, organizing stuff at the shop, which has been, which we're continually doing. There's a lot of stuff up there. So for inventory, it's part of what we have to tackle. John and I both attended a quarterly PNCWA meeting, which was regarding biosolids handling and disposal. Going back to Connor scraping the curbs, we have also got those painted down there on South Sixth Street in front of the school, which was requested by the police department. Those are painted and ready to go, at least on the school side. When we paint the rest of the curbs in town, we'll get the other side of the street too. Other than that, we had a block heater go out for our generator at the wastewater treatment plant, so we had to replace that, and we also replaced the coolant because it kind of burnt up in the process. That's all I got for you guys. Oh, actually, the Wow apprenticeship thing. We've kind of confirmed with Rachel that there is no concern of liability or insurance. I've reached out to the principal of Toledo. I may need to reach out again, Toledo High, because he hasn't responded to me yet, but I guess the next portion would be kind of on them. I'm just waiting to hear back what they're gonna do. But if we did anything, it would be on a volunteer basis through the schools. And L&I's liability. Any questions for me?
So you were speaking on Sixth Street, so on the opposite side of the school, on Augustus, on Pine and on Maple. There is a lot of refuse on around the curb where I think there's drains under there. There might be drains under there. You can't tell because there's so much fall leaves there.
Okay,
That's, if you're looking for things for Connor to do.
okay. That's something we'll look into.
And move down into the council reports, so, couple things that are upcoming, I know at least one of these, a lot of people around town, I'm sure could use. But they have the 5th annual Chips for Trails that'll be happening, where they are having you can drop off branches and brush, and it looks like that's over at McMurphy Park. That's Saturday, April 19th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. We do have contact information for the person running that if anybody has any questions, but that's a good way for people who are doing spring cleanup now to get rid of those branches and debris. And it'll go to a good cause. The other thing we have upcoming will be April 12th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. There's a recycle event going on, and that'll be over in Winlock. We do have a flyer here as well, but that's at the old Winlock drop box at 1105 Winlock Bader Road. Other than that, I don't have a whole lot to report. So we will, if nobody has any questions for me, we can move it on to the rest of council. All right, we will start with Tani.
Nothing for me.
Eric.
Let's see, I spent some time doing spreadsheet maintenance on the pig. We added Rachel asked me to add another fund to it, and I extended it out a couple more years and fixed a bug. And then I was able to speak with Dan Gorton as the president of the Chamber of Commerce about something I'd asked Planning Commission to do, which is to look into business standards. And kind of told Dan, what I'll tell all of you is, you guys got the skin in the game, so you should tell us what you want rather than great. So I think that'll Todd did a really good job on the housing standards, so that it's not too onerous. You know, it doesn't feel like you're in the worst HOA in the world. It's just a couple items, and so my hope is that the businesses can find something to make them attractive and help Toledo succeed. And that's it for me.
And a little to go along with that is there is an informational section at the bottom where we do have, there's a thing that we can to fill out for Dan as well, and I'll bring it to the next workshop also.
I don't have anything to report, but I've been thinking about this for some time, and so I wanted to share a little information of me with you. I have two great grandparents that are directly from Ireland. They are the first, my grandparents were first generation Irish immigrants and also first generation German immigrants. And my other paternal side came directly from, can be traced back to 1635 from England and from Scotland. And the fact that I grew up in a town that was basically called the melting pot of that area, and the fact that the United States is a melting pot, I want to say that I am proud to be from immigrants, and I am proud to be from the melting pot of the United States. And I'm very sad of what's going on, saying that people are less than they are. So that's about it.
I attended the ribbon cutting along with Tony and for our two new businesses. It was a nice turnout. And to see the folks that were there, and otherwise just trying to study paperwork that came through for meetings.
Lots of reading.
And I have nothing to.
I forgot one thing.
Yeah.
Speaking of new businesses, I had the first grilled cheese sandwich I've had in 7 years in the last couple of weeks. And it was amazing. Thank you for the lactose-free cheese. You'll get your business license approved next time it comes around.
All right, perfect. So we will go ahead and move into the committee reports. Anything from planning today?
Just various components working on for the growth management plan and UGA, future UGA. Nothing else.
Thank you. And then we don't have anyone from park board here today, but I know that we do have an application and that'll still leave us with one vacancy. So we are still looking to fill one more spot on the park board. It, it doesn't require that much of your time. So if there's anybody out there that does or knows anybody who wants to make a difference in Toledo and doesn't have the ability to either be on the council or join into one of the other groups or committees we have, please feel free to reach out about park board. And then we'll go ahead and move on down. No special presentation. I will open it for public comment on the agenda items only. If anybody has any comments on those. All right, so we will jump on into new business. So we're going to start first with the ordinance 818. Again, an ordinance of the city of Toledo, Washington, establishing a policy for setting water meters dormant for demolition, construction lasting more than 30 days, providing for severability and establishing an effective date. Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance number 818.
I'll second that.
Been moved by Rebecca and seconded by Tawny. Is there any discussion on this?
Is this the meter one?
Yes.
I had a question and now I'm trying to think of what the question was. Oh, yeah, so when they do go dormant, are we locking that off?
Yep, anytime we turn water off, we lock it.
And so any messing with that lock is going to kick in all the penalties that,
Yep.
okay.
No further questions? All right, we'll go ahead and call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We will move on to ordinance number 819, an ordinance of the city of Toledo, Washington, adopting a new municipal fee schedule superseding prior fee schedules and providing for severability and effective date.
I'll make a motion that we accept ordinance number 819.
I'll second it.
Been moved by Rebecca and seconded by Jamie. Any discussion on this one?
Did you say there were gonna be changes to this, or is this a done deal?
To the permits. For now, this is a done deal. We will have a workshop in fourth quarter on doing a bigger dig into permitting, but right now, these are the ones that I kind of.
Found you going. Okay. Anybody have any further questions? All right, we will go ahead and call for the vote. All those in favor? Opposed? Right, motion carries. All right, moving on to resolution 13A, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Toledo, Washington, adopting chapters 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 of the city's personnel policy.
I'll make a motion that we pass resolution number 318A. Second that.
Been moved by Rebecca and seconded by Kathy.
And is this the one that's going to have some changes? That we discussed at the workshop?
Yeah, there's the couple of little tweaks with titles and making it consistent throughout.
Okay.
There was one, I think, in one of the sections on there. See, I think it's in chapter 9, it's 9.03. But the wording is a little strange. It said, in regards to jeans, it said not baggy and have visual holes. I feel like that should be changed to not baggy or have visual holes.
Okay,
So we'll want to make sure that we get that updated.
okay.
And I can email that over to you later if you want.
Remember.
Okay, perfect.
Oh,
Any further discussion? All right, we will go ahead and call for a vote. All those in favor? Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, we'll go ahead and move on to resolution number 319A, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Toledo, Washington, formalizing the city's organizational structure and establishing personnel reporting relationships.
I will make a motion that we adopt 319A.
I'll second that.
And moved by Jamie and seconded by Eric. We'll open that up for discussion. All right, with no questions, we will go ahead and call for a vote. All those in favor? Opposed? All right, motion carries. Moving on to the next order of new business. We have the Mayor Pro Tem open for re-election, so we need to. We'll take nomination.
I'm curious why how often do we need to do that?
I've retired from
Yes,
pro town.
otherwise I think it's every 6 months, correct?
Annually,
Oh, is it annual? For some reason, I thought it was 6 months.
it can be whatever we want.
Oh.
But,
Annually just makes it a little easier.
yeah,
So we,
I nominate Jamie.
I was gonna go right back at you.
okay, so we have 2 nominations. I have one for Jamie, one for Rebecca. Is there anybody else that would like to throw their hat in the ring?
I nominate Tanya.
Tommy has not been doing this very long.
Neither have I.
I see.
Okay,
I nominate Eric.
I'm like, okay. Any further nominations? Okay, last time we did this, we only had one. Does anybody want to either speak to or refuse their nomination?
I'd like to refuse mine.
I'm refusing mine.
Hey.
I'll
last name-
I'll accept it, it's fine.
Okay. Did you want to? Okay, she's like, no, not yet.
doing yet. No, thank you.
All right, so the only person who has not refused their nomination was Eric.
Thank
I
you.
heard that. All right, so we will go ahead and call for a vote for the pro tem position, appointing Eric for the remainder of this year. All the last chance.
We'll see.
Okay. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
You're the train from here.
Yeah.
I know. I did.
Somebody
wanna
going to the train station?
Yeah, that'd be me.
Thank you very much.
All right, so we will move into the unfinished business. We do need to reapprove the IGA Market Fresh liquor license just because there was a discrepancy on the last one and it needed to be changed. So I would entertain a motion to reapprove their liquor license with the changes they made. They had to add spirits into it. It was left off the last one, I guess. This was not on that, this was one. For them.
I motion, we reapprove IGA Market Fresh liquor license.
I'll second that.
All right, been moved by Jamie and seconded by Kathy. Is there any discussion on that?
Are there samples so that we can ascertain if we're approving the right thing?
Not here tonight, no. I feel like we could probably go down as a group and ask nicely,
Feels
but
like a conflict of interest.
maybe a little bit. All right. Anybody have any other? Okay, I will go ahead and call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries and that is approved. So we'll move on to other business. So there is the Chamber of Commerce camera discussion. And who's still gonna? Did you want to speak on that, Joe?
So, I don't know what, about a year and a half ago, we had a discussion at the chamber about business owners in town purchasing a camera to
Mhm.
go onto your system. And of course, you guys would take over from that. And business would benefit by having the coverage and the recordings, et cetera. I don't know that that's the case, but I do know I talked to Fred. And that equated to nothing. Fred's no longer there. I talked to Rachel about the same prospect. We have a new board. It would have to go through the new board. But I was thinking we could probably do the same kind of thing. Is if the businesses purchase the cameras and turn them over to the city, they would own them from there and be responsible for all the maintenance and downtime and repair and everything. Business would, if it was on their building, would cover the cost of the power of that camera.
Okay.
I don't know if they're wired or wireless. That's a whole new.
They're wired.
conversation,
Yeah,
But the new board would have to entertain that.
okay.
Where would you anticipate putting them, Joe? Well, the businesses have ideas that want to cover their business, of course, so that would be up to the business.
Because I
That
know.
would have to be a plan.
Because I know that like getting the camera data sent from the boat launch over, we have to do like a point-to-point contact. So it would have to be businesses that are within basically a line of sight of City Hall. So as long,
Let's do.
okay, I was just gonna say, I don't know, like I know for the building back behind the IGA, that one might be too far of a distance to reach. But like the ones here in the main strip should not be an issue, and I can call Cody and talk with him on Wednesday.
Cody, the Lego camera guy.
Yeah, he's the one that did all the installs on the cameras for us. So
A hard line should also be an option,
there was a.
because the park is on hard line.
And so is the water treatment plant.
Yeah.
But then I think that has to tie into, like, I know, well, no,
Yeah,
And I left him a
Yeah.
message too. I haven't heard back from him, but
okay.
the
Well, I will-
storage would have to be.
we have to find
probably-
out what the store, yeah.
Yeah.
There's some,
It's 6 months, so we would just have to make sure that we're keeping in that.
Yeah, that we're able to have enough storage space to do that. Okay, yeah, I'll call Cody on Wednesday morning. Cause if I don't get him Wednesday morning, that gives me all day to continue to call and pester him. Until I get a return phone call, and then we can see, so we can. uh,
How many extra slots do you have on your?
So we had a total, the system we have came with a total of 16 slots. I think we're taking up 8 right now. So we do have, yeah, we still have storage space or slot space on those.
Does that
Um,
mean that your footage is part of public record?
Up to the 6-month window, yes, like, yeah, we have to retain it for a certain time frame. So if we are okay to table this until the next meeting when I have more information and then we can get a vote on it. Okay. Table that to next meeting.
Probably wanna check into liability too. If their business is photographing people on the street. But we're taking responsibility for it. Want to see if there's any.
But it wouldn't necessarily, so it would all be the city's cameras. That's what they're saying. They'll purchase them, they'll be on their buildings so that we have that view. But we have complete control over it. It's the same as like the boat launch. We photograph all those people all day long. But it's the city. They're just paying for the cameras instead of us paying for them. So. And we're the ones that have the access now. If somebody say, broke into one of the businesses, we can pull up the footage and we can take clips, we can take the whole video feed, we can send that off to whoever needs it, like. That's the kind of the purpose of that.
Sherry, are you also gonna include installation, even on the business, the initial installation?
It should be, yeah. Okay, so we will move on to the next one, which I was hoping would be here. So the next order of other business is Emily Morgan's park board application. I would entertain a motion for that.
I'll make a motion that we approve Emily for the park board.
Second that.
Emily's nomination has been moved by Eric and seconded by Kathy. Is there any discussion on that?
That lines up well with her passion.
It does, it really does. If there is no discussion, I'll go ahead and call for a vote on that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. We'll let the park board know. They will all need to swear her in at the next meetings. Correct.
Next.
It'd probably have to be the next park board meeting.
That'll be the 22nd.
All right. And we'll make sure that I have that day off.
I suppose you could do it at the council meeting. If it's before.
Sherry, it's also a 4:00 meeting on that. It's a
4 p.m.
special meeting.
Okay. So I will make a note of that. Yeah, and that day I should be able to bolt out of there. Okay. And then we'll move on to the next item on our other business, which was the approval for comp time payout, and everybody should have that. I would entertain a motion on that.
Suppose I'll make a motion that we pay it since we're obligated to.
I'll second that. That's we're gonna.
With comment.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, so it's been moved by Eric and seconded by Rebecca. Let's open it up for discussion.
Sometimes being abused still. So I think that FAFO needs to take over, and that is, I think our comp time needs to be drastically reduced. So
And they knew it,
what did we just approve?
40.
yeah,
And how long to spend it?
a year.
Six
Or until.
60 days.
Oh, okay.
I think the 60 days is okay, but I'm going to make another motion after this. Comp time is really so that you can create flexibility in the schedule. I mean, with the exception of if you're public works and you get called in, that's
Yeah.
very different.
It is, yeah, the
But-
Yeah.
call outs and the
But
comp. are different.
shaving minutes here and there to amass comp time just to have us buy is basically
Yeah.
a raise.
Plus, there's ways to reduce or eliminate by
Coming in
leaving
late.
early, coming
Mhm.
late.
And this is something I know that, and I've talked with Rachel too, but we're watching a lot closer now. Like, I know when she sends stuff over to me and she'll let me know, hey, we're seeing this much, and I know like some people they're spending it down as fast as they're getting it, which what we want to see, not
It's in the policy.
continuing to accrue.
Yeah, and moving forward, it all has to be
Yeah.
authorized, written authorization, and it was like that before too, but.
Do we have any other discussion on this? Okay, I will go ahead and call for a vote. All those in favor?
Oh, wait, can I
Oh,
say something? Sorry.
Yes.
So there's 120 hours total. Do you want me to cash it all out, or do you want me to? He's requesting 100, but at this point,
I'll make a motion that we cash them out.
all of it?
Okay,
I'll amend my motion to cash them out. For a reason.
can I get a second on that?
I'll second it.
The amended motion to cash out all of it was made by Eric and seconded by Jamie. If there is no further discussion, we will go ahead and call for a vote. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right,
So I'd like to add another item.
Yep.
I would like to make a motion that we cap comp time at 20 hours.
I'll second.
And the sick that we talked about too.
Is that over a time period or a year?
No, you can't carry a balance higher than 20, which means you need to spend it.
And it needs to be.
Once you get
It's not a
to
savings,
20.
it's not a
Yeah.
savings account.
all right.
And the
So
sick
the
time.
the motion on the floor
Oh,
is
yeah.
to cap comp time or change to cap comp time at 20 hours. That was made by Eric and seconded by Rebecca. Do we have any other discussion on that?
Just that comp time needs to be approved
Yeah, yeah,
and not sneaked in.
Definitely.
yes. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries.
And if I may, so when is the point for us to talk about sick time and sick rollover?
Well, we've already done that, so it's in the personnel policies that we just passed, so we could. Add that now that since we're gonna be
And what's the sick time currently?
480 hours. Per person,
And we carry sick time over?
yeah. Well, that's how you can get 480 hours. So the attorneys recommended the 40 hours, which is,
A whole week.
So I'll make a motion, we amend the policies we just passed to cap sick time at 40 hours.
I'll second that.
So, hold on, so sick time. What portion of that is paid out?
We don't pay out sick time.
You don't pay out sick time, but
It's the rollover.
so sick time is accrued 8 hours a month.
correct.
And sick time, in theory, is put aside for hopefully something not catastrophic.
Mhm.
So why would we?
Because someone could go, if you have 480 hours of sick time, you could literally take 2 months off.
But it also can't be used more than 3 days in a row without.
Without
needing
a doctor's note.
Right. So if it's a
So-
catastrophic issue, you would have a doctor's note, or you would take paid
Right.
family leave.
Mhm.
It's still a liability that we have to cover. If I were to cash in my sick time right now and just plan on quitting, or I mean, if, anything like that, I could take probably 2 or 3 months off with my sick time.
But you have to have one of the valid reasons to use your. sick
There's
time.
plenty of valid reasons that people can go, you can say I'm having a mental breakdown from stress, and I just got myself a doctor's note. I mean, it's
And you're off for
completely
2
up to you guys,
months,
but this is what our attorneys recommended. I spoke to Marissa today, and that was kind of, we can revisit it if you want, but that's what our attorneys recommended. And there is with written approval, so if, I've got some crazy diagnosis and, but that's also where you can get approval for paid time off,
Yeah.
extra paid time off, which is also in our policy,
So the motion I made is affecting the rollover amount.
affecting the rollover amount, yeah.
That's the problem, is people are carrying multiple years worth of sick time over to have
I thought didn't we talk about capping it at a certain,
480 hours per employee, so you take that and divide it by 8, and that's what
and you can't
6.
ever have it more than 480, period.
No, you just would only roll over 40, so
Yeah,
if
so-
you have 40 at the beginning of the year, but you're still getting 8 hours a month, and it's actually, we get more than 8 hours a month, I think it's,
10 hours a month
yeah.
at,
So you could, you know, make it higher too. I think legally all we have to carry over is the 40, or we don't have to carry, I forget what she was saying, but it could be higher, but 480 hours is a pretty big liability for us to cover. I mean,
480 is big,
it's
Yes,
2
I
months,
agree.
2 or 3 months, yeah.
but 40 seems like really not very much. You get a sick kid, they could have measles and they'll be out for 2 weeks.
So
or
that's
what-
just the
or-
carryover amount, you're still accrued, you
You're
can
still
add to
accrued.
that while you're working, yeah.
All right,
do we want to talk
Okay.
about adjusting that? I mean, we can, is that too low? Is 80 a better number, or that's 2 weeks?
Let's do 80 then, yeah.
I think 2 weeks is.
Okay, I'll amend
is
my
good.
motion to 80 hours.
I'll second. All right. So the amended motion to amend sick time to 80 hours of carryover was made by Eric and seconded by Jamie. Is there any further discussion?
I liked 40 better, the company I work for, it's 40.
I think that's legally what you have to do, yeah.
I like 40 better too.
Time
Right.
also.
We get none. You're not allowed to carry over.
No, I'm a little ornery about the whole thing, so. I'm letting Connie give me some sanity.
All right, I'll go ahead and call for the vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
All right. All right, motion carries. And then we do have,
Did you say no?
Yeah.
We can address it again at
It's fine.
when we redo the.
It passed, that's good, I just wanna make sure there's.
Great.
Some noise.
Thank you.
Noise
Yeah.
in there. If you don't.
and then we do have one more item for other business, which was something that was brought up to us by a business owner to look at changing the way that downtown is in front of the new cheese depot and over to the real estate office, that area where you can't drive through the alley anymore. So we're looking for some sidewalk changes there and maybe an additional parking space. Like,
You looking for a motion on
I would like a motion so I can move forward.
that? So,
Because I think that's the state I'm gonna have to,
oh, so you're just asking to move forward with it? Do you need the
I don't, do I
council
need a
to?
motion? No, okay,
No?
so I will reach out, because I think it's the state that I'm gonna have to talk to.
If we don't
So,
intend to spend money right now, then nope.
all right, so I will reach out to the state and see if we can get that adjusted.
Specifically.
Carol is an expert at talking to
Yes, she
Rockdot.
is.
So much. That may, they could be spot out.
Yeah, okay.
Smart.
All right, and then I will go ahead and open it up for public input on anything in general. We just do have the 3-minute timer on it, but does anybody have any public input?
I need to apologize to the park board because I didn't tell them, well, we kind of discussed it. And I didn't know if I'm gonna be able to do it.
For the record.
Yeah. Yes.
Joanna Jones, I live outside the limits of the city. And I do volunteer work for the city, in particular grants. I write them. It's actually grants through the two senators, Senator Murray and Senator Cantwell. Senator Murray's has already gone in and Cantwell's in the process. And it's for the water main line pipe, which thank you guys for giving me lots of information. The reason I didn't tell you is because I was waiting and waiting and waiting for some input from Senator Murray's office, because we don't want to pay for a loan and we don't want to pay a share. And so they finally were able to find me through the Department of Transportation, if you can believe it, HUD and EDI, which is Economic Development something. So we wouldn't have to pay anything. It's for $2 million. Yes, horrible amount. I thought it was gonna be 1,000,005, but it, by the time I
Mhm.
nodded all the things that I didn't know we needed to have. So it's, should cover us for any extremities that we don't know are occurring. We put in a 30% upgrade.
Yeah, the estimate was 1.25 million 2 years ago, so it's probably 2 is a good
Yeah,
number.
it's been 30% since the last one for each single item. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
We have this beautiful podium.
Yeah.
You don't love our podium?
Yeah. Oh, it's just sort of, so anyway, that's where we are. The other one will be in by the 13th. And it is just called the CDS. It's congressionally directed spending. Right now, it's very nebulous. We could get it, we might not get it. You know, so I can send these in because none of them have to be signed. Okay, so. That's
fantastic.
Thank you.
We're
Thank you.
fine. I don't know that anything good will come out of it, but
Never hurts to try. At least,
no,
at least it gets the information out to them. So maybe later on down the road, some of their, maybe not them in particular, but their people will be like, oh, wait, there is still somebody who's looking.
Senator Murray's is kind of complicated because it required an actual budget. And I don't know anything about fittings. I don't know anything about certain kinds of lengths of pipe and everything. So that's another reason it was weighted, because I had to wait for Gray and Osborne to get me some prices, so. that I could-
Okay.
And thankfully, they had already done that a couple of years ago, about 4 or 5, when we first tried to get this pipe replaced, so. Eventually, we will.
Fantastic.
Anyone else have public input?
Tyler, you all probably read my public comments. They did go ahead and sever their relationship with him up there. He is still down here. I'm happy to meet with any of you privately. I don't want to really cry with you in council about it, but if you have any questions, I'm willing to talk to you about it.
Anybody else?
You have a written one.
I thought that was the one that we don't have.
Oh,
to read
we-
out loud.
just
It's just there
acknowledge it.
because, yeah, it's just for us to acknowledge.
Okay.
Okay, if there are no other public comments, we will go ahead. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
All right, moved by Eric and seconded by Kathy.
It was quick.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Opposed? All right, perfect. Meeting adjourned.